Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just a little bit of an adjust to the camera. Just putting on my toner, I forgot. This feels like a very good one. Somebody gifted this to me. Plum something. I've been using it ever since 3-4 times a day. Every time I wash my face, more or less. Ah, the camera squeeze feels a bit too tight. Yep. Very good. Quickly finish having my cup of tea. Just verifying if I can hear myself. Audio okay? And loudness as well. Just verifying if I can hear myself. It seems okay, but I'm not a huge fan of how this audio sounds for the most part, really. Yeah, are you trying to switch by any chance? You're not. You're not. That is good. Because I have my earphones plugged in, sometimes it will try and uh, switch the microphone to that. It happens with Discord all the time. Uh, do we want to get into something or I want to play something first? Plaguing is a good place to start. We always enjoy playing Plaguing, don't we? Sure. The camera feels a little bit too uptight in my face. Like just a little bit more distance would have been nice. Give me 1 second. Yes. Uh, this see me, and I am limited to this much of the screen. Right. So on the stream, you do see some black screen all the time, right? I have to minimize this. Yeah, that is sort of by design. Like I can go full screen, but it'll just for me it's a hassle to look left from right. Brawl Stars is something I would really love to at least be able to log out and check out my daily rewards and stuff. Fuck. Void Pet Dungeon. Pottery. Plague. Thank you. frozen again. Yeah, but full screen goes out of the bounds of this. Ah, enjoy daily diseases. Okay, no. Cure, plague, prion. There's another difficulty or what? Brutal. Yeah, brutal. That's brutal. 1, 2, 3. You're giving me only go. I think it's time based or something. How good you do. Or maybe it's difficulty based. I don't know. But I only have until brutal. And it's chilly. Let's see. Prion. Brutal. Prion. Prion, right? Levion. Do I get anything new? No. How do I unlock these stuff? Only money? There isn't a way to really get them. How else do you unlock? Just by playing the game. Maybe you play something new. That's how you get the gene. That's always playing fungus before. These are all my basic stuff. Let's just get on with it then. 1 second. My mouse is acting up on me. You are a new prion. You must evolve and spread across the world, wiping out humanity as we know it. This keeps freezing. Prion can start in UA. Or let's try with our humble and noble India. This can feel a little bit too loud at times, so I'm just taking it down a little bit. Let me go overseas now. They're still localized. One second. Russia. New Zealand wasn't already infected? What? One second. Yes. Not a single moment of peace. Get down! Yes. Let's do birds. Blood. No, maybe upgrade air again. Anemia. Yes, anemia is okay at this point. I don't really know what a prion does. What is a prion actually? This is worth looking into. Somebody's yelling outside. Infectious and abnormal type of protein that causes brain diseases. No genetic material, instead they spread by forcing normal proteins. So kind of cancerous, really. Whew, I don't want to know further. Don't want to read into this. But can it like transmit? Can it like be transferred from person to person like this? Who knows? Drug resistance. Let's spread harder. Let's do the stuff first, then we'll spread a little bit more. Have we reached Finland? Greenland? No. Mysterious illness. If I now take away anemia, you should not be able to know anything, right? There's no symptoms. Complex tasks, well, there are some. Anemia keeps showing up every now and then. Well, no. I would need Greenland, right? So then let's just get this done. Or birds. Birds also help. Yes. Why is USA Canada so slow? Yeah, there's no symptoms. Try and figure out what it is. I'm not gonna tell you. If it is medicine that's slowing it down, I don't think. Temperature we've done. Let's just do airways, waterways, or birds. Let's do waterways. Yes, USA and Canada are really a lot detached from the rest of the world. Must be relying on their communication, their what is it called? Birds. Do I have enough for birds? 24, no. Tsunami. I need birds. Seeds. But I'll need the DNA points sometime. I don't have DNA points to upgrade, so should I just let this be? Philippines started to work on a cure. I need points to be able to pull that trigger and start killing people. But yeah, we are making progress in USA and Canada. It's just big countries, really. So more people need to get infected before the red dots start showing up. Le Pays de France is not getting infected that quickly. France and USA are the only two countries that really, you know. Russia. I don't know how else to do what else, so I'll just start killing people. Hypersensitivity, burst rates, let's go. Nothing kills immediately here. Pulmonary edema. Yes, death will only get me points now. I need points. Pneumonia. Hold on a second. Chalo. I need points. People need to die. Yeah, but now that I don't have any DNA points. Seven will not help me kill people. I need to kill people. Only get 2 back. That's not. I mean, we can try that because I don't know what else to do. I need points and I don't have points. So let's do this. If people are dying, nothing is working out. People aren't dying. Can you believe that? People aren't dying fast enough is the problem, and I cannot do anything about it. Yeah, this is going to be a failed attempt. Projectile vomiting does not kill people, does it? Projectile vomiting. Was it this one? Is it this one? I don't know which is no. None of these seem to be projectile vomiting. I think it's a combo, like two things happening, vomiting and something else. I tried. Can I kill just 2-3 more people, 2-3,000 more people? This needed to be the case. Total organ failure. Couldn't get there. There goes the dog crying. Climb every mountain. Get every copyright strike for singing someone else's song that is copyright protected. Oh, but I don't even remember the lyrics. Ah, it has been a couple of days since I last walked walked inside in through these doors of programming. But I think I was working on something that is I added some stuff to the X engine stuff. Yeah. So this is no longer just a generic engine which I was initially planning to do. I have now implemented because it just makes my life easier. If not here, I had to create my own stuff. Like I think I'm doing that still somewhat. In wall.h, we have entity, which is essentially a walled object now. Oh, okay. Entity is okay. But if entity has these properties, what do I do with entity has collidable, harvestable, destructible, fadable. Okay, but I'm only using fadable. How am I doing it actually? Yeah, I'm doing object fadable, right? So we really are not using uh wall.h's fadable stuff, but object has hp. I don't know how then we would handle that, because if something had to have an hp property, let's go to walled objects, mushroom. So mushroom, we just pass in this information. ID is mushroom. Acha, we can set things here in entity, but we cannot access them really, because in the renderer we cannot access them. Somewhere else, why not? I don't know. But these are here. Flip and active I need. Fadable, collidable is sort of a game object property more than it is an object's property. So maybe, entity, uh, because these are very primitive properties, we don't need them here, but this is like specific, you know. I don't think this should change anything. They're not understanding the assignment. Yep, everything is the same. Ooh, why is this happening? Render.c. But was that not the case before also? My collider crosses this. I was never going to that in that direction. If text overlap here, okay. So maybe get fade area could be a bit different for each object. I don't know. This should not be the case, however it is. But these are very pesky little things. Right, we can work on them later. It doesn't really bother me. What I am worried about, let me check one thing real quick. Or is it here? How do you? Anyone, right? Because I forgot last time I was doing something. Remember, I was trying to do. Okay. Well, this immediately catches my attention and makes me sort of question things a little. Why did I? But that's fine. Game object can have it. Okay, then we just work on the next thing that I plan to work on. Uh, hmm. Let's try adding the pond. I think we have the pond object somewhere here. We're just not using it. Oh, I don't have a pond in my sprites. There's a lot of things I need to go check. I'm using a bigger version of it, right? It's a 3x3 and one 1 2 3 3x3 and then 5 by 5, I think. Yeah. That isn't proceed. That isn't being. I don't have that. Right. What if I get it from the map? Instead of sprite sheet, I am rendering it. When I say draw terrain, what happens? No, it's okay, dude. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. When I say draw terrain, what am I doing? I'm good. How are you? One of those days when I think I could really use a Red Bull. When I say draw pond, I am drawing the pond, right? Or am I not? Is it part of the terrain? Thank you, Anirudh. You don't totally have to do that all the time, but thank you so much, dude. I feel grateful. Load forest map is doing trees, rocks. So we're not. Then I'm guessing wall.c path forest is this path forest.png. this comes with the pond, which is not a problem really. I can set up a manual collider. I think that's a better thing to do, unless I can figure out a way to generate the colliders, because if I'm doing add pond, it'll need some work basically if I do add pond, right? I don't know. I have somewhere to go this evening, so I don't know. Uh, can I know what I want to do, but that's not the simplest solution right now. Like, I would want to set up some way where I can just say, draw me a pond this by this, and it'll just draw it, based on some logic. But, or I can let this stay here, and since we don't have water is a specific thing, I can't just do water and like define uh I can also just get the water sprite to exist in that aspect, like pond. Can I just copy pond and paste? Right. So that is also a possibility. Now I can just use this and set up the colliders rightly. Yeah. Secrets and lies, I have not heard about that. It will be interesting. I'm feeling very Red Bully, craving a Red Bull rather. So it's 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 by 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 by 6, right? Counting the edges. And I think backtracking would be easier, but anyways, let's see. 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. 14 is where we begin, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. 14 and 12. 64 into 14 and then into 12, and this just gets 6 by 6. If you want a Red Bull, order on Swiggy. Yeah, I can order. I'm just contemplating in my head. I have been ordering a couple of Red Bulls over the past few days, because I feel like that's my my beer, or my like people run to these drinks as their comfort stuff, or like run away from life. That's my go-to thing. I don't know why. It's so rich in taste, right? Like, no, I cannot enjoy normal thumbs up or a Sprite or any kind of normal soda unless it's in a public gathering. That's the only thing you have. Okay, I'll take it, but otherwise I seldom have these things. I like to have anything that is richer in taste. So these now I have a lot of bottles of stuff here. I don't know if I can show you. I can. I mean, I just need to adjust things. I have these set of bottles stacked up here. I don't know what to do with them. They're just there now. Like with normal bottles, you can just throw them out, but this is glass, right? And they look cool. I think I can put some lights in them and stuff later on, but I don't know what to do with them for now. So they just sit there. But that was fun. Those days when we were programming and stuff. Oh, I will go through those 50, 60 in a couple of days, trust me. I used to do that. 6 bottle pack. Now it's almost like if you've read Atomic Habits, the book that says, the things you don't want to be persistent in your life, try and add some friction. So like if you are an avid cigarette smoker and you don't want to be one, just don't get a packet. Every time you feel the need to smoke, you have to go out there and get one cigarette, and only one at a time. And then don't keep matches and whatnot right next to you. So you gotta like come back home, or if you smoke outside, it's okay. But every time you need to smoke, you need to go outside. Or every time you feel the crave to smoke at home, you gotta bring one cigarette from the store, you gotta light it up from some place, and then you can smoke. If you add friction, eventually it'll be easier to not crave that, basically. Which is a mind play on how weak your uh I don't know, mind power, or how weak your willpower is, really. Because if you really wanted, you would do it anyways, right? Because with other things, you try and do that, like even if you have friction, oh, it's a good habit I'm trying to develop, I'm going to go to the gym regardless, because I am not what my thoughts dictate me to be. I dictate my thoughts, rather, right? You say all these things, but really sometimes you play the opposite, and that works out better for you. Yeah, I think this is good right here, barring my calculations, which we can test. Walled forest.c. See, now ideally you should not see any changes at all. So we have to do, after the terrain which is loaded, the first thing we do is load um uh forest pond, I guess. Load pond. Six by six. I don't know what to call this, but we'll just stick to this. Then we can take this son of a bitch. It needs to be static. Let's do that at the end, or no, at the beginning. At the end for now. Static. Boy, Red Bull isn't good in terms of caffeine. Price ratio. Oh no, I'm doing it for the taste and caffeine. If it were just the caffeine, I know other solutions. I just had a cup of tea, by the way, while you were not here on stream. World. It has become easier for me to get back into these because I'm still in the zone somewhat, right? I'm not completely out of it. It has been a little bit easier for me to come back into projects, into this particular project, and still be able to understand what I'm trying to do. And I am no longer, like puzzled or bewildered by, perplexed by a little complicated statements, which is not what we are seeing here. But in my render.c, you will see some stuff like this bubble sort. It just looks complicated. You really replace them with numbers, everything starts to make sense. Yeah. Load pond. So let's see what we are doing for the rest. I think we're doing add object, essentially. Add rock, we'll just call add object. Right. So next add object is not here, so we can only do stuff from this file. Or which file? Assets file. Forest. Give me forest. Load map forest. Give me assets. No. Sprites. When I say x add this, x add that, where do you reside? Walled objects. But How do you know about walled objects? You don't. Assets, sprites. Forest knows about walled objects. Why? Because we need walled. Okay. So now if I have walled objects in the palm of my hands, because it is a static function, uh, add object is no add object. Yeah, add object is static, so I can only do stuff from here, which means I got to go all the way down, and that's a good thing to do, really. And now my uh, x add bond 6 by 6 will start to make sense. It is idiotic, really, to have it like this, but I cannot think of some procedural logic right now. Because I understand C. I don't know, man. I was just taught C this one semester in our diploma program years ago, and I thought, well, this is it. I understand somewhat of it. I feel like if this was like 10 years ago, I would be doing this in Java. That was the only programming language I was taught at school, and I thought, well, I can make some sense of it. And really, everything is, even if people will not agree to this, or will say, okay, but that's very like, beginner stuff you're saying. But game dev or any dev is really a bunch of if else statements, and you cannot say no to that, right? Like, I'm using a switch statement here, which is equivalent to an if else statement. Everything is an if else statement. If this, then this. If this, then this. It's just, you want to take as much input from the user as possible and check against those inputs and produce some outputs. That's it. And some things happen automatically as well, which you implement yourself. But other than that, it's really the same old input, processing output, input processing output. So any language works. Whatever I was at the time I was working on stuff I was comfortable in, I just chose them. Like, I know a little bit of C sharp as well, which you could probably use with raylib or C++. I have not tried, but maybe some Python, this, that. I can do a lot of stuff, but I just stuck to C, which I knew, and I'm enjoying it, really. What sem are you in? Age-wise, it won't match up. I am 25-ish. I think third year, so this is fifth sem in BTech. And diploma was like 3 years ago, now almost 2 years ago. And then I had in my third semester, I think we had C there, so like almost 3 years ago, I think, or 4 years, I don't remember. A long time ago, we were taught C. I just thought, well, it's a good language. I know my stuff. I know a little bit. I was very confused by these statements, but now I know it's essentially you're doing, I think, this, yeah, this and that's, these are like equivalent statements. It's just shorthand for this. So certain things, I think we were supposed to do something with linked lists and stuff, and I was a little confused why to use malloc. I still am confused. You're taught to use malloc for like very primitive stuff, whereas you can just allocate. Okay, I'll just allocate, even if I do 100 items and you only need 10. Okay, good. Use 10 and just forget about the rest. At least it's safe on the memory, because I need to write a proper loop and go over the stuff and free the memory one by one as well. For my project here, I'm not doing anything like that. Like, there is hard coded max objects is 128. If I need more, I'll just change it like 256. It's better to keep it in the power of 2 for the sake of memory. It doesn't really matter, but for the sake of memory, if you don't know what you're doing. But if you know what you're doing, you can like tweak around and stuff. But yeah, I just use plain arrays, and it's 128. If I'm only using 10, okay, 10, we'll just allocate the rest of them and it'll be all 0 values. What is the second? I don't understand really what happens. I don't even have an alert set up. Why do you make that noise? Is it like when someone subscribes to your channel? Thank you if you have subscribed. Add pawn 6 into 6 will be essentially x add object world. Entity ID will be entity pond, which we don't have. That's the problem. Source and destination pond. Source and destination, what are we calling it? Let's just do an entity pond. I know for a fact I need to go over this and like redo some stuff, but where am I storing my in forests dot h or no on C because they're static. Okay, pond isn't here. Where the hell is pond? Here. Because this is a source. Acha, acha, acha. So we can take rect pond. It is not defined here. Copy into sprites. Right. Pond rectangle destination is pause. No, destination. Destination is in forest, yeah. But we don't have it here. Pause pawns, we have it here actually. Could you show me some of the other ones? We pass in destination, okay. What about source? This takes in okay, source we are explicitly, let's just do that then. X rectangle source equals rect pond, right? And entity pond, entity ID, right? Entity ID equals entity 6 by 6, and we can just pass in ID, source, destination. What else do you need? Collider, X rectangle dest equals dest, right? Take a dest, X rectangle dest, collider we create. Collider is one, right? So 64 and then 5 by 5 or 4 by 4, 5 by 5. We can test it out, please. Right, so ID is that. What is ID gonna do? For now, nothing. We just specify source anyways. Rex at pond. Was I hard coding these stuff? No, we're getting it from somewhere. So I have my pause pond X rectangle test. Let's just do. Yeah, what happened? Why can you not do this? One second, BRB. Hello. Shalom. Why will this not work? This is idiotic. This is a vector 2, yes I know, but this is, I'm also doing vector 2 dot. Oh, is that the case? Oh. Now I see. Welcome, welcome back. Welcome, welcome back. World. What do you take again? I forgot. Destination. destination. Yep. If all goes well, nothing should change. Errors, errors, errors. We don't need to do this entirely. Are we doing 0, 0 for the collider? 64, 64. Oh no, no. Test.x, test.y, y, test.x and test.y. What is this little thing? And here. Okay, let's debug. Let us go into render.h. Ray day deep das. Render.c and this is the collider. There's a brown little blip. Can you show me this? This is showing up. No. It's not even tree stump. What is it? What is this object that is showing up? Below. Oh, I think I know. It is this, because we're going out of bounds, it just flips back to the top. What am I doing wrong though? See, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. It's 5 by 6, sorry. It is 5 by 6, but still that doesn't explain the height issue. There's a bit too much crowding around forest.c. Oh no, we are spawning a bridge also. Just couldn't see it before. It is in the same layer as it? No. How the hell is a bridge getting, some part of the bridge getting spawned if because nothing lines up. This is not in the... Oh, this is so height wise this is spawning this, but 1 2 3 4 5. Oh ho, what? 6 was fine, right? This is supposed to be 5. Yeah, but it's still a little too much. What if I make it 4? You won't probably see any differences there. That is because it by... Let's go into uh, map forest, and if I just disable pond, disable everything really, terrain and background, and like, no, control shift alt w s, and uh, hut yard. Are you down for streaming? Yeah, you can stream. I cannot guarantee. If I am available, I will join. But I don't know. Sunday maybe I am free more than tomorrow. Tomorrow I mean no, today I am not free today. That is tomorrow I am probably free. Give me a second. My eye is really itching. Uh, we could just try some experimental stuff. Map forest X, just X. Yeah, if I am available, definitely. Assets, maps, map forest PNG is 1024. Okay, but source file is not okay. So we just need map forest x.png to be included now, and we can test 1 or 2 things out. Forest. Everybody is good. That's what has been happening all the time. We're rendering nothing. But we add object. Add object. I don't see what's not clicking here. It's usually what am I doing? Or is it a PNG file? But I think I know what the problem is. अरे यार. It was always a PNG file. Yeah, they're all fine. Thank you for asking. Yes, so now we set some properties to false. Now this should be really more. Show me destination actually. 6 into 6, 6 into 5. Right. Yes, and now down. I think I had my calculation a bit off. 13. No. 14, but 11. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Collider wise, we should do something. Collider is being set in world objects. Collider. X plus like 32, Y plus 32, and then 5 will be probably fine. 5 needs to be 4, yeah. 32, I think 4 plus 32, but let's see. 4, 5, 4. No, that's perfect, is it? Yeah, that's perfect. We just set son of a bitch add wait a second, entity ID, entity mushroom, right? Let fate collision is entity bond 6x6. Do you collide object dot collidable? Yes. Fair. Object dot fadeable is false. It is as simple. Everything just works magically now. Fadeable false. Huh? Yeah. And fade effect, right? Yeah. I don't know what is happening because for mushroom it was all fine. Load mushrooms. This mushrooms also has a collider and everything, right? But we can walk right through mushrooms. I'm not using these properties. I just wondered if that is relating to something. No, because I'm not using these properties. For entity pawn 6 by 6, ID is entity pawn 6 by 6. We pass in the ID, and that if the ID is this case, oh, we are defaulting. Fuck, 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 I'm stupid. Fuck, I am stupid, dude. We are defaulting. Now it should work. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's not in the render queue, so that should be part of the terrain. Oh wait, but yeah, it should be a part of the terrain. What are we doing for the depth? Collider plus collider height. So it's like just any other thing. If I am here, I'm on top. Now object is on top because I'm behind object. Okay. This is almost a special case we need to either handle or make this a part of the terrain and just draw the rectangle. Or if entity is pawned, set fade collision if entity is on, if it is an entity pawned. Should I just do X set always on top? and then just do object and then ID, right? So always below player. We do a switch. ID and then constant entity pond. For entity pond, what we want to do is depth is part of what? Object dot depth, yeah. Oh, object dot depth. No, not dot depth. No, ID is ID. Dot depth equal to like 0. Right. Void, let's do bool. Bool, and we will not only do this, return true, otherwise default return. I don't think the break will be ever reached. Break. The break is returning already, but yeah. So now what we can do is otherwise it is setting depth to 0, or I could just do return there and just do depth 0 here. Set always below player. Yeah, it is doing 2 things instead of 1. So set always below player, it's just returning that, and that's it. If not, now let's do like this. If that, then this, else. Zero. Zero just makes it come before everything else. It's just simple. Ah, if always below player, then zero. Otherwise, do what you're doing. Yes. Perfect. Right. No. Why? Yes, we can do scribble. I don't know how much longer. I cannot figure this out. What am I doing wrong here? For the other objects, what happens? Let's try. Nothing changes, right? Yes, that is what I'm trying to work on. This is exactly as like a tree. You know, for this stump, when you see, when I overlap, this gets faded, but I'm behind it, right? I can also be in front of it and be behind it, which is not the usual 2D way, right? But for this, exactly the same thing. When I'm in front of it, I'm in front of it. But when I cross the collider, I'm behind the object now, as if it's a tree or something. It's exactly behaving in the same logic. No, I can ask AI, but I know what I want to like figure out some uh like I don't know what's wrong, but I want to figure it out, But I have a hint. We can try to like print it out. If always below player, let's just try something. I think depth. What does depth do? Do I have it wrong? The lesser your depth is, the you're drawn before. Or is it not the case? If I make it 1000, no, because the first thing that is drawn in render.c is from 0, right? So 0 gets drawn first, on top of that the player, so player should always be on top, right? if I am hard coding my depth, right? Not hard coding. If I'm already doing my depth there, why are we computing depth here? Add this, add animals. Okay, render list. You add the player, which is a singular object. Now, why am I computing depth again? Render list I dot depth. Render list is a game object, max renderables. Uh, so it already has a depth, and we're sorting by that. Render list, render count. No, that is okay, but then again, let's go here. We sort over depth, yes. But if I already have my depth, why am I computing depth again? When I guess this was before depth was a part of the game object struct, right? Now it is alright, but for the other stuff, it is also alright. Yeah, we were just computing depth twice, which back then made sense because I was not doing it in my initializing stuff there, but I am now, so we can just remove that, and now player will always be on top for this specific, and shadow also. Yeah, shadow is not bad, but for anything else like a tree or a rock or a stone, behind. Right? Is the music suddenly too low? Maybe not for you. I lowered my volume, sorry. Um yeah, because I should leave it for now, because here I'm doing this, right? And this function is now a little simpler. It just does one thing. Always below player. Okay, so always below player will just return true or we return false, and this then can be on top of these two static functions. Or maybe we just take the static functions also and pull them to the top below add object. Yeah, so now the forest is complete. Yeah, if I were to turn off, yeah, you cannot walk past that. Rocks also, you can, there's no fade effect with rocks. You can no longer walk on water. By the way, this is a map where water isn't already present also. It doesn't matter really unless it's not aligned properly. But if I were to change this X to not X, then ideally nothing should change. And nothing does because it just renders on top of it. But this is the actual map. Assets, maps, forest PNG is this one, X is this one. Exactly the same thing, just this removed. So we don't need X anymore, just for testing. Although it would be nice. Can I undo that? No. Although it would be nice to not have that at all. Yeah, because pond is it's being shown on the screen separately anyways. Map forest. We can just update map forest to be that. which should have no effect on anything. RC. Yeah. Now I have, yeah, stumps as well. Oh, this bastard. This bastard needs to be colliderized. And the beauty is I'm not really hard coding anything. Everything is sort of dynamic in a way where I can just generate them again and then spawn with the right colliders and everything. Okay, restart your browser. I thought you were saying it's something on my end if you were gonna say. Anyways, what I can do is, oh, first of all, let's limit the player. Um, 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 player movement. Or I guess we can just do a collision box. Mm, Still glitching? What do you mean still glitching? Better now. I don't know what. There's. I've sort of complicated things a little bit, but for the better, I think. But still. Okay. And inside screen. If not, check collision. We shouldn't allow left movement. If not, if the left is being pressed, then we should check this. I think the easiest and the more sensible thing is to just add colliders. Although we have to do it for every map, I think it makes sense. Let's check out raylib cheat sheet. Collider. I can just create something outside the screen, that's it. But then again, if not colliding, right? Ah, there's two ways to do this. The first is I need to just, but it'll not look as neat and it'll be a little less sense making. It has to be somewhere around here. I cannot work this out, dude. This is why I used to rely on Red Bull, I guess. I get drowsy, dude, around midday. Ah, let me think. I want. If I set up a collider, it needs to be an object, otherwise, we're not going over collisions. Uh, Also, if I just add the logic where if, but that'll not, I can just simply add something here, but it will not make the player face turn at the very last step, if that's what we're doing. But how would we end up there? I don't know. So we can maybe. But I mean, we'll still move. We'll still move. Right, so if I do 0 and this probably will mean I just don't. No, we'll still be facing back because that's not changing, or is it? Yes. Yeah. This just means around here we won't turn back, but we can still move. Right. So this check here would not make sense. What happened? Who writes their if statements like this? I don't know. But yeah. You're still here. Good. I know. It's okay. They're not causing any problems. Else sort of forces this to be conditional. I don't think it'll cause any problems in anytime soon. I think I've got it all wrong. This should be the case, right? The name is sort of misleading. If not outside screen, right? So if this happens, then it's inside screen. This, however, is not. And now we're stuck here forever. Y plus object is less than screen. Oh, what is this? The fuck is this? it'll just freeze there then. Don't know what this else will do. Probably won't make a difference. Yeah. So when we reach that place, but this becomes true. Or if outside screen next collider, this is but it's not directional. I'll work on this later. I don't wanna, I just cannot think that strongly right now. We can let this stay, or probably it's better to not harm any existing stuff. Just let's see. Yeah, yeah, let's take a break. I want to comment or commit this out rather bit at dot commit uh, yeah, that's enough. Next we can work on player input, also player movement. Also one thing I have to keep in mind is the player just stops. Achha, what are we doing for that? Am I clamping, colliding? No, you just collide, right? Yeah, if I separate the movement into axis, I think that's how you say it when it's plural, then I can make it slide across objects. When you're pressing two buttons instead of just like one button triggers and you're just stuck here, you can get stuck but slide slowly up. Diagonal movement basically. I'm feeling very sleepy today, dude. Scribble, scribble. Yes, there's the link. Join. Awake is not the problem. It's just I just cannot focus. Mm. It's a very bad way to do it. I don't know how else to do it though. No. I have no idea. Hmm. Yeah. You win because I make you win, because I draw good and make you win. Back to coding, I guess. I get very like agitated when when simple things don't work and I cannot make sense out of it. Like I changed my movement logic recently, and for the it's good, right? It's good where everything is now specific. Um, if you look at move is just responsible for moving, right? It's not triggering any. It is doing just a simple thing of, you know, just set the direction as well. That's it. You know, based on direction, we are updating. That is just complete separate issue altogether. But I'm not binding the player. I'm not bounding the player to just stay within the screen premises, right? I mean, or what if I just do this change where it go to world objects, or world? No, not world. Specific maps like forest and do uh add empty object. I didn't know you could do this. I mean, of course you can, but I was probably gonna just use my own defined variables, but this probably does the same thing. And then we can just do sources this. Because essentially what do I need? Let's see, add object. Let's see, add object, we need world. We need id, could be id empty, which we can work on. Source. Okay. The source we pass on, destination we pass on, collider is we make and pass on, entity id, id equal to entity object. Right. Collider is just the same as source. Or destination, really. Yeah, destination. But you cannot just so test. Now source is 0 0. Height and width is what matters to me. But that's if we're doing pro. For me, add object. Empty object. If I use something like draw rectangle, just will take this. Whereas rectangle pro is what we have been using so far. Okay, that doesn't, because that's somewhere else, we don't need to worry. Here I just pass the same information. It'll create me the object, but I don't see how. When destination, source, you're getting source. Okay, destination we need to pass in minus something. Okay, we can try that. So world, no, I cannot copy that. I need this first. And then I can copy this entire thing basically, and forest.c load empty. Let's do left first, right? So 0, uh, minus 1, 1, and then 0 to screen height. Yeah. Then we modify test to be screen, uh let's do top now. So top is x0, y minus 1 to y1, right? And from 0 to screen width. Okay. Then we x add empty object again, walled and test. Basically we do this twice. What happened? You cannot modify the same variable twice. Rectangle. Oh, I'm not yeah. And then we can copy this. This is left top. Let's do right. Right would be get screen width. Or do I have access to screen? I don't. So get screen width. Get screen width. Can I do a 0 0? Just doesn't matter, I guess. I don't know. Height will be 0, and this will be 1. Screen width to 1 pixel, and then this is destination is width 1 pixel, 0 to width again. So get screen height now. Yeah. For bottom we start at x0, we start at y would be get screen height, and then 1, and then get screen width 0 to get screen width. Yeah, I think that's it. Look at that, beautiful. The player collider is at the foot, so that's why. Oh, collider, yeah, player collider. At the top we need some work. Let me just comment these out. Left margin, top margin, right margin, and then bottom margin. Now Top margin, strands from New York Times for today, and it's so hard. What is strands? I know Waddle. I do Waddle every day. It says there's 7 people watching. I doubt that highly because I don't see more than one person messaging. Uh, I wonder what strands is. Anyways, um, so basically, whatever I'm doing for the collider or the player is what I should just copy paste here. Collider is player y plus 80. 80. Okay. But then this does not need to be, because it is very specific. This could be outside here and in a generic place. uh Top margin is minus 79 minus sorry 7 plus 79 to 80. Yeah, that should do it. By the way, I can press shift and run now. What have you added here? Source is 00. What are you drawing? Even if it is sprite sheet, you're drawing 00, it is stretching it out. Or what am I doing? Let's see. 00 to everything in 1 pixel. Okay, makes sense. So the source essentially can be 0000. It doesn't really matter. Right. We're just stretching it out is what we're doing. And empty, I just care about the colliders. Right. Yeah, so the calculation is a bit of, but this also provides some safety. This where is it? This thing here. If it's empty object, then we don't need a sprite sheet at all. Probably that's not the best way. I don't even know what that results in, but like, where are you sourcing your stuff from? But it's something you want to do, I think, and eventually learn what it does without having a texture to load from. But yeah, right now it's just a safety thing. So maybe 79 can be like 80, right? So 72, 68. We can try 68ish. Does that make a difference at all? Maybe it did, I don't know. But 67 is not doing it. 56. Yes, close by. So 52, 51. No, 50, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60. So 59. That'll leave some margin, some space for the head. A little bit of gap between the head and the ending, I think. Oh no, it doesn't. So 64, really. Right, on the right, let's see. Yeah. What did I do to get this done? This. Now load empty objects. Or rather load green boundary. That's what it's essentially doing, right? This object needs to be made, you know, into an actual object that spawns there. Then we can just leave the terrain, just grass, and then this, sort of sandy or, muddy area out of the render pipeline. Everything else is objects rendered on the screen. At the bottom, however, see, this is where I think it can be specific, because forest.c might have a different layout than base.c. So we could have a struct that we can modify, but for now I'll just leave it. I'll let it be how it was before. Yes. Now I can just modify. Uh, where's this much gap? Now I can just modify this to be, let's see, 64-ish, I think. 31. 31. And then 1 pixel. So 30 only we should do. That should work. 31. Are you like walking through the collider or something? There is some nuance with my keyboard, anyways. So 800. Add empty object. Can you show me add empty object? Collider is destination itself. Yeah, so are we like not supposed to see the rectangle? No, but that's not the case because we see it at the top. Right. Huh. अरे यार. Because we weren't changing anything in the actual function. Yes. So maybe a little bit. 32 could be 48, 44, 40. Eight. Yes. Three. One. Because of how the collider is set up. Maybe. Mm, 7 or 56. 50. We can do 58 here only. One. Okay. Wait, what am I doing? Top margin, no. Seven. Right margin. Screen width minus 8 to even it up. Yes. Oof, will I be live in 20 minutes? I don't know. I'm feeling very sleepy. I sure will go for a lunch break. We're in a good state right now, right? Everything looks nice, organized. It'll be easy to build on top of this more than anything. No, it's not that because I'm sleepy. It's just that I don't know. I just feel a little drowsiness sort of takes away my ability to focus. But I can still keep at it. Just it'll take me longer and I'll be more frustrated and all. I should probably like draft out some story ideas and let you, because you're the only viewer here, or anybody who's watching at any point, like decide which storyline feature or what feature I should work on next in like a poll or something. That will be a good idea. Okay. What should I do? I think what can I post on Twitter today? There's nothing what there's nothing you can visually notice. But I did do some stuff. I guess things like uh this. If I don't load that, there is no bond. Walk straight through. 1 minute. Then I do some stuff for Twitter or 'But if I screen share, I gotta disable my camera altogether. PRB in just a few seconds. Audio is off, right? Don't wanna get. Yes. 1 second. Videos, capture, no, screen recordings. Hmm. It is working all right. About 17 seconds later, the audio kicks in. Got it. And everything freezes. Uh, Added, what do I write here? You can play without audio, right? I'll add extensive comments later. That is a very boring task to do on stream, I think. But I just want to like write exactly like this and then add more so that I know which file does exactly what. Wall.c just in its loads unloads wall, right? The like the map specifically it does, and then it loads unloads textures. So this does not need a comment, but other files, you could have some neat comments here and there to sort of clear the purpose of it. I think wall object dot h, add empty object. Okay, empty object. Now we are adding empty object. I already can sense out some stuff. So we add empty object. So they're all zero initialized. The elements that are not talked about here uh, is like depth and stuff. So object has depth. Depth is not being considered here, which doesn't really matter. So we can anything that a game object has really, other than source and collider, we are not touching. We're not using these. Collidable by default should be true. Is there a way I can do it? I don't know. But here set collision fade, right, which is a very usually it's like every object is collidable, true, right? But still, if not defined, I would still want fadeable false. Okay, fadeable false. Yeah, that's an empty rectangle. Does it care about fadeable? No. But does it? y- You know, I'm still setting it to zero, right? So it doesn't really. Um, I think it makes sense here. Entity empty object is collidable, yes, but it's fadeable, no. So that's one less thing to worry about in depth. We can just set it to zero. It'll be some garbage value otherwise, so you don't want it'll I think it'll be zero initialized. If you create a struct object and it's like not, you're not setting up some values, I'm pretty sure they're zero initialized. If not, it has to be defined by the C standard itself. Otherwise, the compiler handles it. But I just don't want any garbage, any undefined behavior really. So it's best if we just do, you know, we're not doing depth here, right? So X object is doing depth. But then it'll just be like handling edge cases really. For the most part, if not ID entity object this. And then there's source object entity object type is object entity. Okay, remember that entity and object are two different stuffs. uh, for uh, for set collision fade we get that it's okay. This is where I'm interested. If always below player, depth is 0, or even like minus some value, just to be always sure if anything else is supposed to spawn on top of it, which will always be something more than 0, because it's plus y and collider. Y can be 0, collider depth, if that is also 0, then perhaps the object is not even like visible on screen, I think. So that's not going to happen, although it is a possibility. And here uh, we have some depth value, but I don't think that matters, right? Because whatever depth it is, we should handle it safely. But whatever depth it is, it'll just I mean, the collision logic still works. We will just computing some additional stuff for nothing, really. If always below player, this is very strange. Usually you do same thing. If always below player, depth is that, or depth is 0. I mean, depth is 0 or depth is this. It's not really computed, right? Render order just sorts it. No, it is the whatever value you have, player's value is changing. Yeah, so you're not updating the value of the existing stuff. If it's a tree, you're comparing for the player value to be greater or less than that. I mean, you could compare the other way around, tree's value against player, but player is the only one that is changing, right? I would still somehow want this to be set to 0 explicitly. If always below player, or we can do or id equal entity np. Can you do this? I can write an else if. The else if just feels weird. If x is 5, or if I don't know, mango is a fruit. These are like two very separately bound stuff. Nothing changes here, but yeah, the depth is always 0. Small little stuff. Yes. It is time for a lunch break. Or perhaps we'll end the stream today. There's nothing, I don't wanna. I'm feeling very. I just need to like lie down or sleep. I need to sleep, but I won't. If I do, then I'm ruining my nighttime sleep. 10, right? So just to make this look cleaner a little bit. I'll do it later. Get add, yes. Comment. This how you do it? End region. Yeah. So then this does not need to be there. It just simplifies your. It makes it look a little cleaner, is all. From time to time, it is. You have some global values here. Oh, what? I'm not using any of these. These are all commented out from here. This is work in progress stuff. Okay, I am back. I'm probably gonna end the stream. I don't I don't know. I just this is Brawl Stars thing Canon was talking about. I think we saw this somewhere. We do. Chinese mainland finals. Yes, Tomo is retiring. Oi oi. Ah. Yeah, occasionally he does. Or at least he watches the stuff. I posted on Twitter. Oh, let's see how my Twitter post is doing. Usually it gets eyeballs when I post game dev stuff. Yeah, font can now load in. I'm just not feeling completely in control. Nah, no, nowhere close to being viral, but people are noticing is what I can say for sure. Right, that's what has been happening. If I was to continue, what would I do? I would create the functionality to implement those terrain objects, right? No, don't take me. I did lose interest. I don't know how you can just pick up stuff by just seeing me not playing, but yeah, I don't know. Uh, I could add terrain object. I could extensively comment a little bit, which I haven't done in a few days. Every now and then, it's good to add some comments to confusing stuff, especially and I say in a few days because when you actually write stuff, everything makes sense to you, right? You think, okay, this is just idiomatic. You don't need anything, but then after a few days, you go, okay, you know, this could use some comments. That's the time to write up comments for the confusing parts. For the most part, I try and keep my function names and variable names very simple so you can tell exactly what they're supposed to do from the name itself. But some things could use some comments here and there. Uh, Add that and sliding movement. I need to study. I need to read and look, at some examples and stuff for the movement logic. Separate x y axis and do it cleanly. So that will take time. Other than that, just make a new world for farming where we add those farming objects to the like in the addables, so we can just spawn them just like this exactly where we want and tell and have some way to uh I think like Minecraft, where it ticks every now and then, every interval it will tick, and it has a chance to upgrade, which increases over time. Or we could have a fixed upgrade time as well, like 30 seconds later it changes from one stage, like a seed sapling stage, to from you can see what kind of fruit plant crop it is, and then another stage it is ready, then you can cut it out or harvest it, and you can claim it. That is when some stuff I included in my X engine that otherwise it's not an X engine. That's good, yeah, because otherwise it would be very stupid. We included in world.h, I think. uh yeah, which is, collidable is okay. I don't think we need collidable and fadable here. Game object handles these things. Entity has an HP. It may not have an HP even, or and then bool harvestable if it is harvestable, if it is destructible. So for trees, you can destroy trees. Harvestable just means you get something out of it, right? And destructible is like you can destroy it. Like grass, maybe you can destroy and not get anything in return. With trees, you are guaranteed to return something, get something back when you destroy it. That is. So just to be clear, even without those two lines, nothing changes. Is it a good idea to leave messages like, minor cleanup? Is it a good idea to leave messages like this? Because the previous, comment message you can see was a huge one where we did some stuff. Now I'm just cleaning up stuff. That's what I'm doing. So that's the comment. my GitHub over the last I remember. Yeah, because it's more feasible, it's easy, right? You can get everything. Uh, what do I want to open? GitHub. You can get everything instantaneously. And sometimes even inline. Like you can, as you're typing, it is suggesting you do certain stuff. Look at my profile. Yeah, 129 contributions in last year. And I've yet to do a main, git merge me. Or should we do it now just for the sake of, git which main git merge dev git push origin name git switch dev this dev status is all done. Now 129 contributions will become I don't know how much. What? 37. You gotta control refresh it. 137 contributions in the last, and everything is centered around June, July, end of June to July. End of June, I think I was working on the ESP32 project as well. Now I'm only working on this one, but I should be able to jump back and forth between the two, which I cannot. It's a bit taxing on the mind how different it is on the ESP32 side, and I just want to like make everything so similar in terms of the render pipeline, but no, it is the way it has been implemented. Let's keep that way, but this one I can just do all I want because it's in a fresh stage. And if you're on Windows or on Linux, Mac as well, you can try it out. If you know how to build this, Google out how you would build this. You can download this and build this yourself and play whatever much I have made so far. I will add a readme later. I don't care about these petty little things for now. Let's see how many LOC, how much what happened? I pressed a button, Control Shift P. Control Shift P apparently switches my OBS something as well, which is a hotkey. Delete. Control Shift P does nothing now. Control Shift P. Or I could just open up this thing and just go this. Okay. Lines, yeah, this thing. C++, that is not my line, my code, that is raylib, I think. But C, I'm interested in C. In SRC. That is all my code. Total 1850 lines of code. I guess the includes are also mine, but you gotta, inside of includes, raylib.h and math.h, you gotta exclude these. My god. You gotta exclude these ones. And only then can you really count. Right, so I'm not looking at this at all. What? 5200. I'm pretty sure raylib has 1700 and raymath has another 3000. It is possible because my files, other than a couple of ones, some of them are just one, two liners, like this one, this one, this one. So yeah, I guess I'm not attending anything so far. I don't know. I feel like I picked the wrong room to begin. Really, I don't know, man. The internship thing seems a bit scammy too. Not going to lie, very fishy stuff. But I don't know, man. Like ever since it clashed at the same time when I started like Uprise, really working on Uprise and streaming, and I started getting a lot of people coming to my streams and Twitter and all of that. That is the time I was supposed to start my classes, and I'm not doing anything. Evening time, on weekends, you're supposed to be joining the 1.5 hour class, but it seems very counterproductive. The teacher mostly yells at the screen and is very repetitive, and I feel like I can learn if you just tell me the topics. I could just learn anything, really. That's the point of being a good student of the game, is just you can give me anything and give me some time, I'll learn it. Maybe not as cleanly as somebody who has worked with certain stuff like these frameworks or libraries. You don't really learn. You can learn, but you can't really build up systems by just theoretically learning it. You got to practice and see why what works, and why maybe something different would need a different approach and all of that. Like it's experiential stuff. You don't really get that just from reading or being told. Just like someone is reading some text or some book or whatever it is. It's just someone just reading over something that they're supposedly calling teaching now, and 90% of the time is like, why are you not responding? You have to be a yes man, always say yes, I understand, it is clear, always communicate, and all these BS. I don't understand, man. I don't like to communicate. You tell me something, if I find something irritating or wrong or questionable, I'll question it. Otherwise I'll just nod along, right? What's wrong with that? But no, you got to be communicative, and and then if you're not being communicative, people will stop you there and lecture you for an hour about how important it is in an interview, whether gauging your interest as well, not just your ability to answer questions, and all these BS, right? Which even they seem to be knowing nothing about. I don't like it. Revature, no. What is that the name? Absolutely not. If that's an adjective, I still don't believe that is the case, even if I don't know what that means. But yeah, it's a lot lackluster. I don't like lackluster stuff. Right, college is as lackluster as it gets, anyways. So you're already learning. I was on somebody's stream and I said, like, did you learn all of this yourself, or were you accredited, or were you in some kind of course or college work or whatever it is? They said no. And they also said something that stuck with me, like, can you not, or can you ever learn something not by yourself? Like, even if it's being taught to you, or even if things are being presented to you or spoon fed to you, you still have to learn it yourself. And that's very true, and that's why it stuck with me. I don't want to reveal any names, the company wise, but yeah, I'm not really heavily invested in that. And I just shampooed my hair yesterday, so it's not really, it's a little flatter and smoother, not exactly how I would like it to be. We did some stuff, man. We did some stuff today. I'm not exactly productively happy, but I am somewhat happy relatively, because we got somewhere. Pond has been added, and now maps can start to look generic. Even this can be like removed from the map and added via function calls. So we are moving towards an engine, or like a mini engine, to quickly get things on the screen, and everything spawns logically, so it will have its own rough colliders and everything. I don't need to manually put them in. That's the beauty of this entire thing. For ponds, if we only have this and this and like a bigger pond, yes, it works. But if I have 10 different kinds of ponds, it is not worth making files like that. Maybe it is, just make a ponds.png file, but also I could just generate these from code by logic. Centerpiece is centerpiece, and then we can use these as anchor. We could use the centerpiece as anchor point. No, I do learn from AI from time to time, dude. But like right now, I'm doing fine. Like, did I not get what I wanted to do? Yes. Now, could AI help me optimize it further? Yes, absolutely, no question about it. Could it also lead me, like down some rabbit hole of optimizations, which I, keep going like deeper and deeper, but that doesn't make any sense to me after a point, and it's just getting confusing, the code I write. Then that's not also good, right? So I try and keep a balance. I have been using AI lesser and lesser over the last few days, and that's mainly because I can get things done myself. It takes time, and it's oftentimes I write some PS code, and then once that feature is implemented, I get an idea of it, and then I just clean things up, right? I mean, it's like anything else in life. You gotta shit first before you can clean it up. If there's no shit to clean up, what are you even doing, right? Odyssey, no, I have not. I will perhaps check it out sometime else. I notice myself stuttering a lot when I get drowsy. I'll take a short break. I'll get my lunch, probably a Red Bull can. I'll work on this myself, but I don't want to stream it because I don't know. Laid back working, let's just call it. Alright, I will put the outro screen up. Thank you so much for joining, Anirudh. I will put the outro screen up. If you see some ads, I will be grateful if you take a look at some ads in that screen. That helps the channel remain a channel, I guess. But thank you, Anirudh, for your donation and kind words, and you're the only one almost pretty much, so thank you so much. Goodbye.